Right, now earlier on we looked at some pretty impressive gadgets, but now it's time for the best gadget of them all.
The Carver. So it's a sort of a bike thing. Well, no. I mean, it's got a bike wheel on the front, but it's got car wheels on the back and standard car controls to drive in. And it's certainly not bike fast. 0 to 60 takes 8.5 seconds, which in bike terms is a week. So it's a sort of a car. Well, no, it's not a car, because it does this. Whoa! What a sensation!
It's got a 660cc turbocharged engine that's good for 115 fun-filled miles an hour.
Help! I'm falling over!
Which, trust me, is enough.
I'm in an insane machine! Now, it may look like a piece of lunatic fun, but it's actually very difficult to do this, to tilt. It uses a set of hydraulic rams that allow it to go over at, well, increasingly ridiculous angles. You can end up at 45 degrees, which, well, that's madness. And then it gets really difficult because the engine is in this bit that doesn't tilt. You're in this bit that does tilt with all the controls to work the engine, and it's all got to somehow connect up. And that's one of the reasons why it's so difficult to do and why it's so complicated, and also why it's so spectacular. But the amount of tilt isn't decided upon by how far you turn the wheel. It's how hard, it's the force. So if you're aggressive, if you tip the wheel hard, you tilt. But if you're gentle, it doesn't tilt so much. So at slow speeds, you can turn it for a full lock and it stays level. But if I get more aggressive, everything goes insane. I am in a miniature road-going fighter plane. I want guns strapped to the side of this, something that fires missiles, maybe. A bit of a dogfight. Because there's one thing that's unlikely ever to happen. You're not going to come across another one.
The Carver is the result of 11 years of design and development by those crazy, sexy Dutch. And they believe it could herald a whole new way of motoring.
Now, the bad news is, it's not cheap. £22,500. But this is the gadget to end all gadgets. It's insane! Who could possibly need something like this? Me, actually. Definitely.
And look, the roof comes out of it.
It's kind of a convertible thing.
The best thing about this is you just know it has to have come from a country where drugs are legal.
It could only have been the Dutch. You can see them now sitting around one night all listening to Bob Marley and somebody just, these cars, too many wheels, let's lose one.
My favourite Dutch story is they had an explorer years ago, OK, called Abel Tasman, who went off to the South Seas to try and expand, find new lands and so on. And he found Tasmania, because he was Abel Tasman, and that's named after him. He found New Zealand, and he found the Fiji Islands. He missed Australia.
It's easily done.
I was on the deck having a little smoke, sailed right past it.
I think you've got everything.
It's just unbelievable. I'm sorry about that.
But then they brought it over to this country, and because it's kind of not a car, not a bike, the bloke in his suit, when they brought it over and said, look at this crazy car, he didn't know what to do. So as a result, you don't need a helmet to drive it.
No, my wife drove it.
There you go.
You don't, honestly, I had one of these last weekend, and I have to say, absolute hand on heart, I've never had so much fun in a car, really and truthfully, and I don't think I'd ever tire of it.
No.
You'd certainly never tire of people coming around going, can I have a go? Can I? Because absolutely everyone goes, oh, can I? So the kids were like, let's just go for another ride in that Carver on.
Yep.
And it's when it goes around, it's like when it leans, it really, really, really banks over, and you have these little warning lights. Did you show those?
No, well,
You have these little warning lights on the dashboard that tell you it goes through the green bit, and then you get into the red bit when it's going to lean too much, and it just said in my letter, and this is really good fun.
It's such a clever idea because it gives you a target. The first
does,
time I
it's
got
like-
2 red lights, I got 4.
Oh, there was kids in the back. How many lights have you got on now, Dad? All 3 red ones. Whoa, leading around it. I loved it. But the great thing was, okay, I went to a party.
What, in this?
Yeah.
Good man.
And as is my wont, I admit, at a party, may have had a sherry or 2.
You didn't?
Yeah, and decided that I wasn't going to drive back in this paralytic, so my wife said she'd drive, and that meant I
So
had
you
to...
passenger?
Yeah.
You're joking?
No.
Actually, I don't believe you.
I'll show you.
Seriously?
I can get in the back of this. Just
I want
watch
to see
this.
it. Do you want me to do the seat for you?
Yeah, there is an art to getting in, okay?
You are joking.
To do it in a crazy and sexy way.
Yeah, you're looking fantastic.
Oh, you see, look, I'm
I
in.
can't believe that. Right, I'm getting in.
Do you see? This is a country where homosexual marriage is legal. And
He is my partner and also my lover. Lift your foot. Look at that. That's marvellous. Good work.